G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. As I've often said, the truth matters. Now, using Ukraine's own maps, I can prove that it was Ukraine who violated the ceasefire. Here we have the timeline. 3 hours ago, Russia launched missile attacks. 13 hours ago, there was violent explosions. Okay? So, there were violent explosions. They declare ceasefire. But then, what happens? Drone raid on Crimea. So, Russia retaliates. And you can see. A lot of these are old. Day old. So, again, Ukraine is giving you the false impression that Russia launched a huge attack on them when these are all old attacks. Day ago. This is the problem with politics. People want in power. I know often it's because there is no point. There's no point in calling out Zelenskyy because his supporters don't care or won't do anything about it anyway because the Russians deserved it. So, but I want you to know the truth. The truth matters. The truth will set you free. The truth will not have you beholden to manipulation by people who lie constantly. Sorry. Oh, remember, I am sponsored by you, the viewing audience. My merch store, Empire of Elves, link in the description below. There is now a slight price rise for some, but soon all the printing prices will go up. So slowly, you've got a few. There isn't long before all the prices go up, but yeah, I'm sponsored by you, the viewing audience. Remember that. Zelenskyy announced ceasefire. Right, short, and was to begin at midnight on the 5th and run 6th of May. He did this because Russia announced a ceasefire. But the short 27 minutes after they announced the ceasefire, they launched, and Ukraine launched an attack against Russia. You can see, yeah. Oh, yeah. By attacking, they attacked Crimea before they announced the truce. So they attacked Crimea, announced a truce, and then launched another attack on Russia. And somehow, Russia's supposed to say, "Oh, we're supposed to take you seriously." No. The ministry declared the ceasefire is on the 8th and the 9th. Zelensky's playing politics. He wants everybody to say, "Look, everyone, look how evil the Russians are." He's playing games because no one in Europe is going to call him out. No one will hold him to account for his actions. These are the people who keep running around saying how we've got to hold Putin accountable. We'll never hold Zelenskyy accountable. So you cannot trust Europe either. You have to hold your own side to account first. Now, this is weird because Ukraine can, and at times has demonstrated, that it is trying to crack down on corruption. And you must give credit where credit is due. There is a lot of it, but at least some have been arrested. Some people have been held accountable, but it's only the peons, the little people. It's like all the anti-corruption in China. They're just saying, they're just harvesting the leaks. They encouraged all this corruption. Now they're just harvesting the leaks. You know, the idiots, the people who played by the rules didn't get ahead, and now they're watching all the corrupt get arrested. But the thing is, most people are released 60, 90 days later and go back to their jobs. Now, at least with Ukraine, it appears that this person is being held for criminal charges, pending a full investigation. Recruitment officer was taking money for not sending people to the front, and he had a lot of cash, and people were making cash payments to stay off the recruitment list. It's tokenism. Okay, they go after the little people. With all the big corruption that's gone on in Ukraine, the only people who get arrested are the little guys. Still, he committed a crime. He deserves to be arrested. But none of the people who matter ever get arrested for anything they've done. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, a short time ago, Russia launched an attack. Now, this is from yesterday's attack. Sorry. All right. So yesterday, Russia took out an armoured transport with its precision strike. Now, you can barely make out any of it. They're using... they've pixelated the night vision, so a lot of details are taken out. But you can start to make out there's the armoured transport. It is actually... Is it stopped? Yeah, it does appear to be stopped. And we see the explosion. It's fairly standard stuff. But here's the actual close-up view from the drone. It's fired an incendiary. It's ready to flip the incendiary when it's fired. It's actually, the cap has already popped off, so it's already starting to burn when it falls in. The drone actually delivered. If only Amazon could deliver that precision, eh? But that is the state of the Ukraine war. Right now, it's back on for 2 more days. Possibly. We'll see what happens. But again, isn't it amazing? The only mainstream media who's reporting that Ukraine attacked Russia during the ceasefire period, immediately after announcing it, is NBC. Normally I'd say nothing but crap, but now and again the broken clock can be right twice a day, you know? Now, Ukraine claims that, it's all politics, right? This is what I said. Declare a ceasefire. This is the game. Declare a ceasefire. And then when the others, especially if you know the other side has already launched missiles, or you've launched missiles, and then declare a ceasefire, knowing they're going to retaliate. That's what Ukraine's done every time. But the West, Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. No, Zelensky's a hero. It's the same political games over and over again, and it's tiresome. None of them will call Zelensky out. None of them will stop funding this war. There's just too much lobbying going on for war right now. But there's also too much provocation. Ukraine keeps attacking Russia and the Russian economy. So Russia feels there's no option but achieve a military victory because Ukraine is not interested in their opinion, in a civil end to this war. However, Trump thinks that he can get a deal done or get a deal done with Russia, and, well, I think this is where China might step in. I think China might start putting pressure on the EU because China isn't making money at the moment. China's starting to lose ground in the EU. China's got a lot of trouble with BYD, its own spiraling cost of its aircraft carriers, cracked holes, couple of dead submarines, facing now China could be facing the first trillion default. That is a default on over trillion loans with Pakistan and a dozen other countries. This is over the high-speed rail and other Belt and Road projects. Heck, even Brazil. Was it Brazil who recently won a case? No, it was Argentina who recently won a case against China. And that sparked a lot of... Of course, you also got Ghana, who's pulled the plug on Chinese owning gold mines. They now only lease and have to pay market... Yeah, they only lease mines now, not own them. So, yeah. Remember when China used to support Africa, and as soon as the Africans start... Yes, go ahead and appropriate your stolen gold from the Europeans. And they turned around and also took the mines off China, and they said, no, only the Europeans. So I think Russia has no choice to continue this war because Ukraine won't stop. But the question is now, how is China going to respond? Now, a lot of China watchers believe that China hasn't got the political will to aid Russia because they're too busy with their own internal conflicts, their own internal economic mess, and their own attempts to destabilize the West, particularly organizations they've long funded, are starting to dry up as China is facing a decrease in, and they can't make it up, right? Decrease in parcels from the US. They tried to shift to Europe. Europe doesn't consume as much. And Europe has just started taxing parcels, so that is backfiring. There's no way Russia can absorb anywhere near as much resources of China. So China's having to wind down and it's trying to revive its economy by deflating everything. The only way that basically means everyone in China. So China's going to make trillions of dollars over the next 10 years from gold mines, over $1 trillion from over 12 years, and very little of that. What's it? China has the worst range to GDP in the world, 8%. So communism only pays 8% of its profits to workers, where in America, I think, it's the highest GDP to income ratio, followed by Europe. Even India and Africans earn more than Chinese workers. Yeah, you're better off in Africa than in China. Isn't that an irony? So, and it's good. If Africa is increasing its wages to its workers, that's a good thing. I know a lot of people say, but the profits. No, It's not. Your profits dry up. That's what's happening in China. When all the wealth becomes concentrated in the bank accounts, you know, they literally have banks where there's nothing but pallets of cash stacked up, all marked with numbers, secret accounts that people can actually see, vaults for pallets of cash sitting in vaults. They got nothing to invest in. They've made so much money. China's made so much money from gold sales alone. That's what's been propping up their economy. And now they're trying to do that with oil. But that backfired in Iran and Venezuela. They were selling Venezuela oil to Cuba and shipping the Cuban medicine to China. And, getting the Cubans to pay in goods, not money, at market rates, which meant huge profits for the Chinese companies, because the stuff they get from Cuban rates, and then go to China and sell it at market rates, is a huge markup. Huge markup that they're cheating the Cubans out of. Yeah. Communism, folks. Communism. So, I remember when the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine turned to China. And now they're turned to Europe. They're only a fair weather friend. China's looking to get its capital, or it's at least its partial investment in Ukraine back. Now remember, China did and so was India, selling ammunition to Ukraine. I think India's now down to something like 7 billion. Its arms sales have dramatically dropped. A lot of Indian, and it's a bad sign when countries stop selling arms. Remember, for 2 years, Russia stopped selling arms before I think about 2019. So about 3 years. So if India stopped selling arms, it means they're in an arms build-up because they haven't cut manufacturing. So India's arms build-up, that's not a good sign. But I think India's arms build-up would be faster than Russia's. Plus, I think India's looking at submarines now, not an aircraft. They also, isn't it amazing when India develops something and Ukraine massively at the same time develops something, and they both look like they stepped out in the 1930s. Yeah, someone's going around selling weapons behind the scene, and I wonder if it all points back to England, Germany and France. Now, there has been lately a lot of technological transfers as well in and out of Ukraine. But I think, this is only my opinion, that Ukraine is playing its last desperate card leading into the Trump deadline. Now, we're 3 weeks away from that, so we'll see. We'll see what the Trump deadline brings, if there's a Trump deadline. Remember, nobody's talked about the exact date of the Trump deadline, or exactly when he said he was going to put his foot down. He just said it's coming soon. That's all we have for a date. I believe it's the end of the month. I believe it's either it'll be the 1st of June or the 30th of June. Or it could be the 1st of June. I'll review it and see what day in June I'll give you until, when Trump's given an ultimatum to Iran as well. So the Ukraine war, I hope, is going to be over. I don't see much benefit for Russia taking the rest of the oblasts, nor do I see the benefit of Ukraine other than their ego prolonging the war or even holding it on. But a compromise that would please no one is to give credit where credit's due and start drawing the borders where Russia is. And Ukraine to end this. I mean, if Ukraine only stopped attacking Russia, that you'd have to do it long enough. And then, there has to be ultimatums, red lines. There has to be something going forward. But everything seems to be more about politics and perception than facts or even... Now, I think Trump is serious, though, when he says he wants to end wars because it's bad for business. And there's a lot more business to be made than the profit of guns, because you're killing your customers. Your war profits don't last. So I think Europe and defense contractors in America are going to milk this for the next couple of weeks, and then there has to be, Ukraine has got to be close to unable to. I mean, this $90 billion loan, I've heard it's only sitting at $78 billion, and the UK hasn't topped it up. They're only exploring its options. And now the UK is talking with Canada to get it to top up this $90 billion loan. And Carney, like a fool, getting his ego stroked, is rather egotistical anyway. But yeah, he's going to, look at me, I'm going to be the saviour of Ukraine. Yeah, for what? 5 seconds, and then it's going to be what Ukraine? But again, politicians are shallow. People can't learn the lessons because they don't suffer the consequences. By taking the consequences of war away from the leadership, you have the leadership flippant with the truth because its supporters won't abandon them, and then flippant with reality when it comes to war, and because, again, they don't pay with their lives, so there is that. I think by not paying the cost of war is a danger, right? There should be a consequence. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. All my links are in the link tree. Scan the QR code on the screen or in the description below. Appreciate each and every one of you. Bye for now.